Hello Flosstube, I am Jani and this is a new episode of Stitch with me. This time with a new project. This is Amy Can by Hands Across the Sea, and I just started this last week. And it's really pretty. This is the first page, and I'm using all DMC colors, and the fabric is 40 count linen, and I tea and coffee diet, and also bake it a little bit, so it's a really pretty primitive fabric. I'm stitching 1/2. The coverage is not full, but I like it. I don't like to stitch 2/2 in 40 counts. I'm sure it will look really full, but I find it really hard to do it. So yeah, just one thread, one floss over 2 threads of fabric, and that's it. That's my start. I finish this part of the first page border, and I'm doing the inner motifs now. This is a little tree, I guess. And yeah, here is a butterfly, and is stitched 1/1, so it's really difficult, but there are just a few motifs 1/1, so yeah, I'm guessing it won't be hard to do it, to stitch it. But yeah, I'm loving the colors and the design. This sampler is really a cute one, like a pretty one, with this pink instead of the usual olives and brown sampler colors. This pink brings a lot of fun and playful vibe to the design, in my opinion. So I'm really like it. And I was talking in my last video that I found I will find this a little challenging to stitch this sampler, and some of you comment that it was funny that I found this sampler hard to stitch, because I stitch Mirabillas and Chatelaines and more complicated designs. But I mean, it's not difficult to stitch this kind of charts, these samplers, but I feel a little nervous because it's how can I say it? I'm a very carefree stitcher, so I don't follow many rules. I try to enjoy my stitching and don't get very worried or conscious about the way that I stitch. I just cross the make the crosses in the same direction, and that's about it. So, but I feel with these designs that as many of you know, these samplers were used to teach little girls, to make stitches and to learn how the appropriate way to stitch, and and to be really, really clean and really neat. And I feel like I have to do the same, and I have to be really careful with my stitches when I'm working in this kind of sampler. And it's not the way that I usually work. I'm more, don't really pay much attention. So I feel like I have to be extra careful with this kind of designs. Because of that, it's a kind of to show a little respect to the original little girls who stitched these samplers. But of course it's not really difficult. You just have to stitch and complete the little motifs. So yeah, I guess it's a kind of a personal feeling. So, but I'm really enjoyed it, and of course I'm trying to be careful and neat, but really don't overthink much about it. And as always, I try to enjoy my stitched pieces. So yeah, it's the same with this. I just try to be really careful and enjoy the process. So yeah, this is my start, and actually I guess it's going to be my only mania start. I was planning in also begin my Gypsy Queen by Mirabilia, but I don't want to oversaturate my projects. I know it's too late for that because I have so many whips, but yeah, I will try to finish a few projects before playing with new ones. So yeah, and speaking about be really careful, and I don't have a project back for this for this work. So I guess I'm not being really careful, because this is my project back for my Amy can sampler. So not quite pretty, but I will make a new project back, a new fabric project back, or perhaps I could get a pretty bag or something that I can use for this, because of course it's a big project, not so big as other samplers, as another Hands Across the Sea samplers, but it's 280 by 310, something like that. So yeah, not a huge sampler, but I will be working on it for a while, so I better get a pretty bag to carry my Amy can sampler. And the colors are so pretty, and I'm, as I told you, I'm using DMC, and I got all my DMC from the store here. So even though we usually have a complete set for DMC, personally I like to get new flosses for each project. So yeah, I have all my materials ready, and I was going to start. Well, actually, when I started this, I missed one of the flosses, one of the DMC. I don't know what perhaps I didn't get it in the store, or I don't know, I threw away. But I already have another one in my set. So yeah, I could start with all my materials, which is part of the fun part when you do Stitch Mania, to have everything ready. So I had everything ready, and I received this pattern really fast. So yeah. Ooh, I made a mistake. I'm guessing I made a mistake. Yes, I did. Let me unstitch. And also this week I work in the birds and the bees by ink circles. And I'm really enjoying that project. I will show you what I have. I'm planning in doing a pretty finish for that, but I will let you know when I got everything complete. So I was telling you that I've been working in this project, in this Amy can sampler, and also I've been stitching in the bees and the birds and the bees by ink circle. So really happy with that project. I will show you in a minute. I finished page 1, and I have a small piece of page 2, and I'm now working in page 3. So I'm almost halfway through my sampler, my ink circles, but I'm really like it. Let me show you. So here is my ink circles, the birds and the bees. I'm using DMC 4130, and I'm stitching this also in a piece of 40 linen 1/2, and I dyed this piece of fabric with browns and yellows and blues, and yeah, I really like it. This top part is page 1 and page 2, and I'm stitching page 3. So here is the top border, and this is the bottom one, but the design finish right there, with those like eagles or something, but but I really didn't like it like that, because I felt like it was incomplete somehow. I don't know. So I decided to add this curve, and just this border, just a plain border. So yeah, the idea is to close the design. So also in this bottom part, I will continue with this curve and stitch a straight border also there. So it's all you know, like in a rectangle. So yeah, I think it looked a little better. At least for me, I kind of like it like that. So yeah, and I love these little bees. Oh. You know, just one stitch and it's a bee. So yeah, it's really cute, and all the birds, and yeah, it's super cute. I really enjoy stitching this project, and probably I'm having special plans for finish it. So I will let you know when I'm done. So yeah, I stitch it in that sampler and start this one. So yeah, I been stitching this week, not so much, but you know, a stitch is a stitch. So yeah, and I'm really happy with this Amy Can sampler. I don't know if there is a actual SAL for this sampler, but if some of you know about a SAL, or are you working in this project, you know, we can stitch together. And yeah, I usually don't like to make rotations, because I'm terrible at follow them, but you know, we can do something. And I've been watching Flosstube. I only have like 10 or 12 videos to watch, and really enjoying all the Stitch Mania plans and everything. It's really fun, and you know, one get excited because all of your beautiful projects. So yeah, thank you to all of you who are making Stitch Mania videos, and we all get really excited. And today I watch Farm Girl Michelle, and she make a video about the retreat, and it was great because just today I was, you know, I went for a cup of coffee, and you know, I was planning on make stitch with me on location, but the coffee shop was really noisy, and I can hear a thing. And yeah, I thought, you know what, perhaps this is not a good idea, and besides the noise, placing the camera was really really difficult because I couldn't put my phone in a way that you can see some of the stitches. So yeah, I decided that wasn't a good idea after all. So I came home and start recording a proper stitch with me. So yeah, but I watch Michelle, and yeah, so fun, and we were all stitching together. So really really good. And also I was watching Ginger Gerald. He has a series with different floss tubes, and it's really interesting because he make like interviews with them. So yeah, one can really get an idea of everyone's projects and taste, and information about each stitcher. So I thought that was a really really good idea to know everyone a little better. So I was watching the last one with Christine, stitching all the things, and she's so fun to watch. I love her, and her personality, it's amazing, and I love her hair. So her interview was really really great and interesting, and I thought that it's kind of a little tag. You can also answer that questions. So yeah, I was really really interested in her answers and everything. So, and I wrote the questions, but I guess they are in my phone, and I'm recording with my phone. So but I guess one of the question was when do you start your Flosstube? And she started in January of this year, so really really new. And I start mine on June last year, so I'm almost in my 1 year anniversary of my Flosstube. Yeah. And then Gerald asked her, how do you start, or when do you start stitching? I start stitching almost 30 years ago, and my mom used to get me magazines, and I start stitching with Aida, which here in Mexico it's not the the traditional Aida that we know, but it's a a more light fabric. Here we call it quadrillé, and it has fewer threads, so it's not with such quality as traditional Aida, but it's softer to stitch. So I start with that fabric, and I start doing magazine designs, and I start doing Gloria and Pat's Precious Moment, little dolls and all that stuff. I didn't, well, still didn't have much technique, but I learned by myself, following the instructions in the magazines. So I have been learning a lot of techniques lately with the Flosstube videos and stuff. But yeah, I guess we start really, really naive. and talking about the fabric, Gerald asked her about what type of fabric she usually work with, and I of course start with Aida, and I really well with a type of Aida, and then I get the original one, the really hard one. and then about, I don't know, 10 or 15 years later I start with linen and even whips and stuff. But I don't mind stitch in Aida. I like it, and it's of course easier to stitch because you can see the the holes in the fabrics. But yeah, I like to work in Aida, and I like to work in linen. I don't discriminate. And I love dyed Aida because the colors in Aida are really, really strong. And you can get more combination, well, at least in my experience. It's so fun to dye pieces of Aida for me. But I like to stitch in Lugana and in Monaco. In Monaco, I found that it's a little tough, a little hard for me to stitch, because the threads of the fabric are more big, more thick, so it gets a little harder to pass the floss through the threads of the fabric in Monaco. So yeah, and because I usually work in Monaco and it's already dyed, so it's a little smaller. So yeah, I found a little hard in Monaco, and I like Lugana because it's really because it's an even whip, so the designs look really even. And of course for designs primitive or samplers like this, the the effect that you get with linen. It's so pretty, but of course this is not really a linen, but it's the idea. So yeah, I like all fabrics. All have some pros and some cons. I stitch some pieces in Jobelan, and it's really soft. I like stitching in Jobelan, and I also stitch something in Jaslyn. I don't remember right now what, but it's really also soft to stitch on. And lately I've been stitching in hand. When I start, my mom got me wooden hoops, so I start with those hoops. But yeah, I wasn't really fond of them, so I then start to work with frames and Q-snaps and different tools. But now I'm feeling really happy stitching in hand. So yeah. and I usually like to work with DMC. I don't have a lot of stash of other flosses or fancy flosses. I have my chatelaine kits with Glorianas and different silks, dinky dyes, but I don't get fancy flosses that I have in that I'm currently getting a collection of those, and I like to work with DMC, and I like to make conversions of designs that are charted for silks or for variegation threads. I like to change them and blending threads, DMC or colorist DMC or anchor. So yeah, I like to change that and create new not new colors, but using the materials that I have in hand. And I guess that's a little because it's really hard here in Mexico to get materials and stuff. And now with the internet and the online stores, it's much more easier. It's easier. But in the beginning it was almost impossible to get charts or silks or fabric even. So I get used to change my materials because of that. So nowadays that I have more access to the originals materials and fabrics and flosses, I'm still prefer using what I have in hand, DMC and anchor, and it doesn't bother me. So I guess it's part of what I get used to. So I'm happy with that. We have a saying here in Mexico that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So yeah, I guess I'm the old dog in this scenario. And what else? Yeah, they were talking about what kind of designs she like, or styles. So I guess Mirabilia and Chatelaines will be always one of my favorites. But right now, I'm evolving to more primitive and this sampler kind of charts. But I'm always stitching some Nora or something like that, very classic, lavender and lace. And yeah, it was such a shock when I first knew Mirabilia. I was just the first one that I knew was not Mirabilia, was Lavender and Lace, one of Marilyn Angel's, and I was so blew away because of the beauty and the materials and the design, and a new world opened to my eyes. So yeah, it was really a great experience. And I guess I will always be loving those classic designs. It will always have a place in my heart. So yeah, I'm not very in the Halloween mood. I mean, I like some designs, and I stitch a witch, a Nora witch, but no, not really my cup of tea. And also seasonal designs are not my thing. I used to stitch from magazine and stuff, Christmas stuff, and I have a lot of stitched pieces that I a nativity and that I use in Christmas season, but no, not really my taste right now. So yeah, but it's really fun to remember all those things we used to like, and we don't like it anymore, or not so much. So yeah, so I'm finished the second bird. Yeah, I have 2 birds. Yeah, they look a little different, but I guess it's the magnification length. I hope. I will check them. But yeah, I finished the little tree and the 2 birds. I have to stitch these eyes are in satin stitches, just a little detail. And here is another butterfly, 1/1, and then I have another butterfly here, and this is a flower. So yeah, little motifs and a beautiful sampler. I really like this. It's so pretty, so girly, and so intimidated still, even though I don't pay much attention. But I guess it looked pretty. Here's my my back. Not so terrible, I guess, not as perfect as those wonderful girls stitched originally, but I'm trying to be good. So yeah, this is my mania start, and I'm loving it. I got the pattern from Gulf Coast Stitches, but when I ordered, I ordered to send it, to ship it here in Mexico, and in her page, she didn't had that option, and later on she talks in her Flosstube that you just can send her a message and let her know, and she can send it outside United States. So, but I didn't know at the moment. But one beautiful stitcher helped me, so I ordered the chart and I sent it to her house, and then she sent it to me, and yeah, it's a wonderful community. And so yeah, also this week, speaking about wonderful community, I received a beautiful chart from Rosewood Manor. I will insert a picture here. Yeah, so happy, and I want to stitch all the things, as Christine says. And yeah, thank you, Mari. Oh, Marianita Linda. She sent me that beautiful pattern, and I want to start it and perhaps use one of my fabrics, a really dark one, and stitch the keys in with a light floss. So I don't know. I have to think about it. I love to change a little and use bold colors. So yeah, I don't know when I will start that, but it's one of my future projects to be. And I want to talk to you about something. One of the comments that I received, one of the ladies asked me what I do with all my stitches. If I keep them or I sell them, or what I do with them. And I was thinking about it because I don't know, perhaps I was not in a really good mood, or I was a little sentimental or something. I keep thinking about it because I have a few a few finishes, and I try to frame them or fully finish them, but I have a few more without finished. And I was wondering, why do we stitch? I mean, we stitch to make something beautiful, to create something that we love, to enjoy the process, to get that feeling of accomplishment, and also to to be proud of our work. But after, at least in my case, after I finish them, I mean, I love to watch them, I love to see my framing piece, but it's not something that I don't know how to say it to. It's not something that I'm living for, you know. I have to finish and I have to have a lot. No, I mean, I love the process, I love the beauty, I love the final result, and that's it. I want to start again, but what is the purpose, you know, to finish a lot of things? I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about it because she asked me if I sell my pieces, but I don't sell them. I mean, I couldn't put a price in my pieces, and I'm not sure people will be willing to pay the price that the pieces really worth. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of an interesting question. Perhaps I'm not in the right place to be thinking about it, but I don't know if I have a lot of finish or a few of finish, then what? What do I do with them? I don't know. It's a heirloom for my family, you know, that they can keep and enjoy, but it's not even that, because we don't know what will be happening with those pieces after we left. So I don't know. I try to enjoy the process, to enjoy starting them, and to enjoy be working on them and be creative with the fabric that I choose. For example, in this case, is really traditional and really classic, and the colors are pretty. But in another ones, like my Nora Corbett mermaids, or you know, my Mirabilia ladies, the colors are really striking, and I enjoy all that. But at the end, with all those pieces, you know, I don't know. So I guess I will be interested in read your comments and read how do you feel about all your starts, and I mean all of your finishes. So yeah, I guess that's it. I hope it's not a sad note to finish with. I mean, I'm not sad. I enjoy very much doing what I do, but I don't have all the answers, I guess. So yeah, sorry about all the, how do you say it, rabbit hole. So well, let me keep stitching in this pretty sampler, and watching more YouTube, more Flosstube, and getting ready for all the pictures and videos for the next retreat. And yeah, stitch a lot, have fun, enjoy the process, and share the beauty. Bye bye.